Given Trump's rather colourful past, you may well be surprised to hear that some of the former president's most fervent supporters are evangelical Christians. They're one of America's most outspoken and well-funded constituencies, working as hard to put Trump back in the White House as others are to put him behind bars.
America and Christianity are like baseball and apple pie.
The subject of God and politics has long fascinated American actor and filmmaker Robert Reiner. The veteran Democrat supporter's latest film is called God and Country. It explores the rise of Christian nationalism through the eyes of America's mass of theologians and conservative thinkers. He began by telling me about the roots of Christian nationalism.
What's happened is we've seen over the years, starting really in about 1954 in America, when the Brown versus the Board of Education, which required there be a parity between blacks and whites and integrating schools, there started this movement in America, which now has morphed into what we call Christian nationalism. And the idea is that first of all, it's not a religious movement, it's a political movement, make no mistake. And the idea is that America was born as a white Christian nation, and these people are virulent about returning to that, and they'll do it at any means necessary, including and up to including violence. And we saw this happen on January 6th in America, where the basis of the foundation for the attack, the insurrection on the Capitol, was this Christian nationalist movement. It's very scary. It's the undercurrent, it's the political undercurrent of what's fueling Donald Trump's run again for the White House. And it pretends to be a theocracy, an autocracy, and it is a danger to American democracy.
And in America, the Christian right, the Christian nationalists have money, they've got media, and of course, they've got influence on Capitol Hill.
Yes, they do. They're very well organized. They're very well funded. And they have, right now, the Speaker of the House in America is Mike Johnson, who is an avowed Christian nationalist. And he even overtly says that he takes his directions from God, and that all legislation comes from God and not from the Constitution.
Okay, now how ironic is it that the most powerful embodiment of Christian nationalism is a man who doesn't exactly behave according to the precepts of the Bible? That would be one Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, it's laughable. It's laughable. And the way they justify it is to say that, you know, God works in mysterious ways and that Trump was sent by God. He's the second coming, according to them. They've essentially deified him, and they make excuses for his terrible behavior. But you have to understand, again, this is not a religious movement. This is a political movement. They are so far afield from the teachings of Jesus, which is to love thy neighbor, to do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
But Rob Reiner, your voice is influential in America, but especially in Democratic ranks. Would you say to President Biden, you've done an amazing job. You know, you've saved our democracy from Donald Trump in the last election. But if you want to make sure you carry on saving it, it's time to bow out and let someone younger take over.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I would let him take the lead on this. Now, if he says, I'm leaving, I'm whatever, then that's a different issue. But I would never question his ability to govern.
If Trump wins the Electoral College by a squeaker, you know, by 100,000 votes or 80,000 votes, as happened in 2016, what happens to American democracy then?
Well, that's the fear. Trump has already said what he wants to do. He will gut the Justice Department. He will go after his political enemies. He will surround himself with loyalists. And, you know, American democracy will not be the same, and it may not survive.
Rob Reiner, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks for having me.